We're seeing the usual headlines throughout the mainstream media. We're seeing the usual concern. Oh no! NBA ratings are in the pooper! We have been covering NBA ratings for years over on the main channel. Over the last 5 years, it wasn't really all that hard to figure out why no one was watching the NBA, even though the media pretended to be perplexed about it. The NBA ordered a double dose of wiener. They were focusing less on basketball and focusing their efforts on combating mythical racism. As a result, normal people turned the NBA off, with many of them never returning. Like I told you guys many times before, LeBron James is going to be remembered as the first face of the NBA to leave the league in worse shape than it was in when he was drafted. And the NBA was struggling in 2003 when LeBron James was drafted. Going into the conference finals, NBA ratings were the highest they have been in years. I believe the opening round of the playoffs was the most watched in 25 years. Overall ratings for the playoffs are the highest in the past decade. But even with that being the case, there was some concern going into the conference finals. There's a lack of mainstream stars. Your mama, she's never heard of Jalen Brunson or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The only Shai mama probably knows is some doofus named Shannon who weirdly calls himself Shay. Hey, it's me, Shay. Of the 4 teams left in the playoffs, 3 are smaller market teams. Now, some are claiming that this is the reason for the 24% decline in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Game 1 between the Wolves and the Thunder, 5.4 million viewers. If you remove the COVID years in 2020 and 2021, it was the least watched opener since 2013. Back in 2013, they had an excuse. The Western Conference Finals that year was Spurs-Grizzlies. As great as the Spurs were, they were never a mainstream draw. They were boring. Anthony Edwards ain't boring, but the problem is, Anthony Edwards isn't exactly known either. Sure, he's known to diehard fans, he's known to people who follow the NBA, but if I go outside and ask my neighbor who Anthony Edwards is, he's probably going to assume he's the white dude across the street that calls himself Peeping Tom. And this is the main reason I am not concerned about ratings for the Western Conference Finals. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. Once stars reach the pinnacle of their drawing power, we often forget how long it took them to get there. Caitlin Clark is a rarity, a Midwestern white girl from Iowa becoming an overnight celebrity and a mainstream draw. That is very rare. That's not how it usually works. It took Stone Cold Steve Austin 8 years to become an overnight success. In 2003, LeBron James was the most hyped player entering the NBA in years. You could make the case that he was the most hyped player since Michael Jordan. But LeBron wasn't an instant draw. He wasn't an instant success, at least in terms of ratings. Cavs Spurs, which I believe was the 2007 NBA Finals, least watched in the history of the league, a record that was later broken by LeBron James himself in 2020. It took Steph Curry 4, maybe 5 years to become an overnight success. No one was watching the Rainbow Warriors back in 2009. Hell, the first 3 years of his career, no one really gave a shit about Steph Curry. It takes time to build stars. A lot of times in the NBA, stars are built by passing the torch. They're built by conquering their playoff rivals. Magic and Bird, Jordan with the Pistons. Jordan retires, Kobe and Shaq dominate. As Kobe is declining, LeBron and Steph are ascending. Right now, the NBA is in this transitory period where they've got a lot of young stars, but a lot of these players, they haven't had a lot of exposure to the casual fan. Think about it. How many OKC games did you watch this year? This is Anthony Edwards' second deep playoff run. The Knicks have finally made the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. A lot of these kids watching the NBA, they weren't even alive the last time the Knicks made the conference finals. The NBA is in this weird predicament where they've got a lot of young ascending stars while their aging stars are rapidly aging. Kevin Durant didn't make the playoffs this year. LeBron bounced in the first round. Opportunity was lost for Anthony Edwards in the second round this year because Steph Curry injured his hamstring, which is a common injury for aging stars. It's gonna take time for these young guys to cross over. But the best way for them to do that is exactly what they're doing now, making deep playoff runs. The NBA, they're going to take the hit in the short term. If we get Pacers Thunder in the NBA Finals, the ratings could be disastrous. But at the same time, they're laying the foundation for the future of the league, which is something that the NBA does not do during the regular season because they feature the Lakers and the Warriors on national TV all the time. Now, the league and the networks, they are forced to feature these young players. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that ratings are down 24%. It's not ideal, but you've got to build towards the future at some point. You can't rely on LeBron, Steph Curry, and Durant to carry the league forever. But give me your thoughts on this. Are these ratings cause for concern? Or is this the NBA's opportunity to build towards the future? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.